In a peaceful village surrounded by thick forests and a wide river, people lived simple lives. Farmers worked in their fields, fishermen cast their nets, and children played under the shade of mango trees. Among the villagers lived a humble palm wine tapper named Obinna. Every morning before sunrise, Obinna carried his rope, knife, and clay pots into the forest to climb tall palm trees and collect fresh palm wine. His wife, Ada, often watched him leave. "Be careful in the forest," she would say. Obinna would smile. "Do not worry. The trees and I are old friends." But lately, things were not going well. Many palm trees had stopped producing good wine, and Obinna struggled to feed his family. Deep in the forest stood a very tall palm tree near the river. The elders always warned the villagers about it. Old Mama Chinyar once told the children, "That tree belongs to the marine spirits. No human should climb it." The river beside the tree was calm during the day, but at night strange lights sometimes danced across the water. Because of these stories, no palm wine tapper dared to touch that tree, except Obinna, who was growing desperate. One evening, Obinna returned home with only half a pot of palm wine. His wife looked worried. "This cannot continue," Ada said softly. "We have little food left." Obinna sat quietly for a long time. Then he remembered the forbidden tree by the river. Maybe the stories are just old fears, he thought. The next morning, before anyone woke up, Obinna walked deep into the forest toward the river. The river shimmered under the early morning mist. The forbidden palm tree stood tall and silent beside the water. Obinna hesitated, but hunger pushed him forward. He tied his climbing rope and began to climb. The higher he climbed, the stranger the air felt. The wind whispered through the leaves like voices. Halfway up the tree, a soft voice echoed from the river. "Palm wine tapper, why do you climb my tree?" Obinna froze. Slowly he looked down. Standing beside the river was a beautiful woman dressed in flowing white. Her feet barely touched the ground, and her hair moved like water in the wind. Her eyes shone like moonlight. Obinna quickly climbed down and knelt in fear. "Who are you?" he asked. The woman smiled gently. "I am the marine spirit who guards this river and this tree." Obinna's heart pounded. "I meant no harm. My family is hungry. I only wanted to tap the tree for palm wine." The spirit studied him carefully. "You are brave. Many men fear this place." She touched the palm tree. Immediately, sweet palm wine began dripping from the tree into Obinna's clay pot. The spirit spoke again. "You may tap this tree whenever you wish, but you must promise never to tell anyone about me or this tree." Obinna nodded quickly. "I promise." From that day forward, Obinna's fortune changed. Every morning he visited the river tree, and every time his clay pots filled with the sweetest palm wine in the village. Soon his customers doubled. At the evening drinking spot, villagers gathered around him. "Obinna's palm wine is the best. Where do you get such sweet wine?" Obinna always smiled but said nothing. Within months, he repaired his house, bought new clothes for his wife, and never worried about food again. But the villagers became curious, very curious. One night, during a village celebration, the men sat around drinking large calabashes of palm wine. Obinna's friends kept pressing him. "Come on, Obinna," one said. "Tell us your secret." Another laughed. "There must be a magical tree somewhere." Obinna shook his head. "It is nothing special." But the wine flowed freely, and Obinna drank more than usual. Soon his tongue became loose. With a proud smile he said, "There is a palm tree near the river, guarded by a beautiful spirit woman." The moment he said those words, a strong wind swept through the village. The fire flickered wildly. Some elders looked uneasy. The next morning, Obinna went to the river tree as usual. But something was wrong. The river was unusually quiet. The birds were silent. Then the marine spirit appeared, but this time her face was cold. "You broke your promise," she said. Obina's knees trembled. I was drunk. I did not mean to betray you. The spirit shook her head. Slowly, the spirits of the water reward honesty, but they punish betrayal. She touched the palm tree. Immediately, the tree began to dry up before Obina's eyes. Its leaves turned brown, and the sap stopped flowing. Obina cried out, "My spirit mother, please forgive me," but the spirit slowly disappeared into the river mist. When Obina returned to the village, his clay pot was empty. Days passed. The river tree never produced palm wine again. Soon his money ran out, and his life returned to hardship. The villagers eventually forgot about his mysterious success. But Obina never forgot his mistake. Years later, elders would sit with young palm wine tappers and tell them the story. They would say, "Long ago, a man was blessed by the spirits of the river. But he lost everything because he could not keep a promise." And they always ended the story with this warning: respect the spirits of the land and water, and never betray a secret given in trust. Moral of the story: a blessing can disappear the moment trust is broken.